For as long as there have been people doing stupid things because they were angry. Moses killing the Egyptian, Xerxes lashing the river, Alexander the Great brawling and killing his best friend, Caligula declaring war against the sea, Ivan the Terrible killing his own son. Anger is a primal emotion that often arises when we feel threatened or frustrated. However, when left unchecked, it can lead to a cascade of negative effects on our mental and physical health. Studies have shown that chronic anger can increase the risk of heart disease, weaken our immune system, and harm our relationships. Stoics believe that anger arises from our irrational beliefs and judgments about the world. In other words, it's not external events that make us angry, it's our interpretation of those events. The Stoics also liked to discourage anger by contemplating its consequences closer to home, how it contorts our face. Anger is ugly and, in a sense, unnatural, because, as though in a trance, we seem to abandon reason when we're in the throes of rage. We're thinking creatures, and yet when anger takes control of us, we become mindless and stop thinking. We're therefore less human when enraged. That's what the Stoics found most unnatural about it. Anger, hatred, and the desire for revenge potentially turn us into animals. Stoicism offers us a powerful toolkit to take control of our anger and live a more tranquil life. Now let's delve into the practical Stoic techniques that can help you effectively manage anger. Number 1. Identify the costs of anger. One of the most famous Stoic slogans says that anger does us more harm than the things about which we're angry. We eat our own hearts when we give in to anger. As philosophers used to say, it's self-destructive. The consequences of our anger might harm others, but we also harm ourselves. We must accuse and condemn anger, scrutinize its crimes, and expose it to the light of day. Compare it with the worst evils so that we can see clearly what it is. Anger squanders things and rarely comes without cost. What has anger cost you? Think on Marcus' question, how much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the circumstances that arouse them in us? Think of specific incidents where you resorted to anger. When you took personal offense to something, said something out of anger, and it blew up a business deal. What's a relationship that deteriorated because of something you did in a rage? Did you have a stressful travel experience? Did you say something sharp to a family member on a stressful holiday? Did you destroy something irreplaceable? When the costs are laid bare, we will be less likely to give in to anger. Number 2, identify what's in your control versus out of your control. Even in the ancient world, there were those who tried to argue that, in moderation, anger could be useful. Most notably, the followers of Aristotle believed that anger sometimes helps to motivate us to do good things, such as addressing genuine injustice in society. We call this righteous anger. The problem with this idea is that every tyrant, every brutal dictator, believes his anger is justified and righteous. People who say that anger motivates them remind me of the internet meme that says, drink coffee, do stupid things faster and with more energy. Getting angry motivates you, sure, by making you do stupid things faster and with more energy. We can't think clearly when we're angry though. That's why we make mistakes and end up doing things we regret later. Think about it this way. If you're trying to fix a leaking tap and bang your thumb with a spanner, you'll maybe get all angry and frustrated. Suddenly it becomes 10 times harder to do what should be a really simple repair job. If you don't take a break to calm down, you'll perhaps end up losing your temper and throwing the spanner across the room. We can't even fix a broken tap when we're angry. How much more difficult, though, is it to fix a broken relationship or a broken society, making the distinction between what's in our control and what's not? We don't control what's happening around us, the world at war, the particulars of our birth, the vagaries of our living situation, that this person is an imbecile, or that that person wronged us. We do have the power to control how we respond. We have the power to control who we are inside. We have the power to focus on all the gifts we have been given. We have the power, as Marcus wrote to himself, to say, "This is unfortunate. I've been harmed or no. It's fortunate that this has happened, and I've remained unharmed by it. It could have happened to anyone. But not everyone could have remained unharmed by it. It's not other people who make us angry therefore, but rather our opinions about them, especially our strongly held value judgments." Number 3. Time-out strategy. Marcus Aurelius tends to describe this as separating our opinions from the external events or people to which they refer. The Stoics like to follow this by asking themselves how someone wiser and more patient would respond to the same situation. They actually ask themselves, what would Socrates do? We might ask, what would Marcus Aurelius do? However, the Stoics realized that in many cases it's already difficult to think clearly once we're in the grip of a violent passion, such as anger. So they recommend postponing our response until we've had time to calm down. This is actually a very ancient technique, which goes all the way back to the pre-Socratic philosophers, known as the Pythagoreans. In modern anger management, we call it the time-out strategy. If you can walk away from an argument, for example, and wait until you've settled down again, it's easier to think things through more rationally and make better decisions about how to respond. Number 4, accept that there are going to be stupid people and stupid things. In the world, when you wake up in the morning, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." One suspects he was referring to a particularly frustrating person, some opponent who just would not, or could not, get the message when he wrote, "You can hold your breath until you're blue in the face and they'll just go on doing it." It takes great skill to identify irrationality and emotional reactions in other people. It takes a lot of confidence to avoid battling with someone acting out of ego. It requires patience to endure their onslaughts and put up with them in your midst. But if you can, you'll preserve your happiness and live a much less stressful and angry life. It's not your job to change other people, and even if it were, crazy doesn't want to be changed. Learn how to walk away. Learn how to de-escalate. Learn how to let other people be themselves and you just do you. It's a much easier life. You can count on that. If you have made it this far, comment down below and subscribe to channel for more wisdom-based videos. Thanks for watching.